Just
Yes.
full
Yeah,
screen this.
can see.
Vishal, can you confirm my screen is visible?
Yep. Perfectly
Fine.
fine.
Okay. Uh, hello everyone. My name is Shlok Mishra. I have been a GSOC and an LFX mentee last year for Meshery. I've been contributing since 2023 October, and I've been a consistent contributor. I'm basically the top sixth or seventh contributor in Meshery itself. Meshery has various repos as well, so we'll go through it and how can you integrate all of them together. So just a brief about the Meshery's architecture. So consider Meshery over here, and Meshery integrates with your Kubernetes cluster. And what it does is basically you can uh, visualize your infrastructure. So in Kubernetes, there are a lot of different services, or a lot of different tools that you use. So what Meshery does is you drag and drop them onto the canvas, and you can see what that particular tool, what that particular deployment is supposed to do. That's what the core functionality of Canvas, that is one of the main feature of Meshery or main feature of layer 5 that we developed. So, but there's a lot more about the architecture to it. My just words from me won't justify it because it's like 15, 16 slides of architecture, and that's too will be less. So you can go through the slides, the community slides, that will be enough for you to understand the architecture. Uh, Contributing to Meshery server is mostly depends on navigating through the code. So we'll not go with the slides, we'll go with the VS Code. So I have a local instance of Meshery setup over here. And what I did was basically I cloned Meshery repo. I followed the contributing.md guide that is present on the GitHub. And what I did was I cloned one of the repos. I cloned basically three of the repos: Meshery, Meshkit, and schemas. So if you are trying to contribute to the backend of Meshery, I would suggest you to clone all three of these, because there are a lot of features that you need to implement, and they are scattered around different repos. So I'll go with explaining the basics. So I'll just go quickly to GitHub and Meshery. I'll just search it so I can find it. So yeah. So when you go to the Mishri as an org, you'll see that Mishri has various repos over there. So it's Mishri, MeshSync, Meshkit. Uh, as a whole, Meshri is a software that basically connects with a remote provider, that is a cloud or a local provider, and it shows you the infrastructure. So Meshri has the base code, all the functionalities that Meshri should follow, like permissions, what all things to show, restricted access, that is managed by the cloud provider. And uh, Meshkit is the library, or Meshkit is basically the microservice library that we have. So whenever you're writing a function or developing a feature for Meshery, it's recommended to have the core functionality implemented inside Meshkit, because there are various repos in Meshery. Like I mentioned, the cloud provider, that is private, and then there's the schema repo, MeshSync. There are lots of repos. So if you implement it directly inside the Meshkit, it's very easy to call it rather than calling the whole Meshery repo. So this is just a centralized way of uh, organizing the functions, so that if there's an update to a function, let's say for a particular function there's a new version update and something is deprecated, so you won't need to update it throughout the whole repo. You can just come over to Meshkit, go inside the function, and basically update it. So let's say for the component.go, I'll just go here. If I want to add a new field to this particular function, that is called n number of times inside the various repos like Meshery, cloud, and schemas. So you can just update it over here and it will be reflected across all once the version is released. So this is the overview of Meshkit. Is this clear? I think so. I can't see the messages. Oh, Uh, I think so. It's clear. So I'll be moving forward. Yeah, someone unmuted. Is there a question?
No, it's clear.
Okay, sure. So I'll go the schemas repo, and then we'll move back to Mishri. I'll show you how to set up it, how to set it up locally, and then we'll see on how to contribute to schemas, because that's the main goal that we have for today. So for schema, what we know is Meshri follows a schema-driven approach, where you create a particular type of struct. Let's say we'll go with this. We'll go inside the schemas folder and constructs, let's say the v1 beta 1, that's the versioning and model. So don't get too overwhelmed. It's just a JSON file at the end of the day. So what we do here is this JSON file is used to generate the structure of the variables for the backend as well as the frontend. So when the frontend is integrating the APIs, or let's say calling the APIs, so in that particular scenario, it's good to have schema-driven approach, because let's say I have my front end is sending a variable named products, and asking for products, and my backend is sending product. So because of an S, there will be a lot of mismatch and a hassle that is unnecessary. So we follow a schema-driven approach to mitigate these type of errors, like the useless errors that you can say that can be mitigated easily. So we do it with the help of schema-based development. In schema, you just put in the JSON, run a command, and the generated file is created that can be called across all the repos. Now let's see about, I'll just move it down. And I have the local instance setup of Meshery, Meshkit, and schema. Uh, if you have set up Meshery, what I'll suggest you is you go inside the Meshery folder, and I would recommend you to go through the contributing.md. I think it's here. Go through this, and once you have went through this, all of the Meshery's functionality is run through the make file. So this is the complete make file for different instances like local provider, remote provider, and stuff. So to run it, you just need to run three commands. One is make UI setup from the root repo. I won't be running it. I'll just type it so you can see it. It's make UI build, to build the UI, and then it's just make server. So as the name suggests, this is nothing but it's just going inside the UI folder. You can see in the make file as well. It's just going inside the UI folder and doing npmi. So it's just make UI setup is this. Make UI build is basically building the npm package, same going inside, and you can see in the make file as well. The make server is nothing but it's just passing in the param. So if I pass in the make server, you'll see. So I think I closed the command. So this is the actual command that is run, that it's going inside the server. It's going inside the CMD folder. It's doing go mod tidy so that all the dependencies are there. And these are the variables that are passed, and main.go is ran. So this is what the make file basically does. It's just you concise all those steps into a single command and then you run it. So this is how you'll run Meshery locally. And whenever you'll make a change, like adding a console statement or anything for the backend, if you run make server, it will be visible. If you're adding in the UI, so you'll have to run make UI build again to see the changes inside the UI. Or there's another command for UI development separately that would be covered in one of the sessions that Amit took. So you can watch that back. So I think setting up Meshery locally is clear, or you can follow up the video as well. So these are the three commands that you need. Is it okay? I'll move forward. Inside the Meshery repo, you'll find a folder name as Meshery CTL. So this is just the CLI tool of Meshery. Basically, if you want to contribute to Meshery CTL, you just need to come inside Meshery CTL. So I'll just remove this. I think I can zoom in more. No, it's not working. Okay. So I'll come inside Meshery CTL. And inside Meshery CTL, what you need to do is if you are making a local build and you are testing something of the CLI, so you just need to run a make command. What the make command will do is, I won't run it completely, but yeah, what the make command will do is it will create a local instance of the CLI. CLI is nothing but a .exe file. And then you can follow the contributing to Meshery CTL guide and you can get it through with. But basically, this is how you do the CLI part. And moving forward, connecting all these three repos together, like the schemas, Meshkit, and Meshery repo together. So you go inside the Go mode file. It's mentioned over here. Just uncomment these two files. Make sure that your schema and Meshkit are just one repo behind Meshery. So I have all these three inside the same repo. So just put in the relative path or the absolute path if you want. And this will basically use your local Meshkit and local schemas. Just make sure that the version, the tag here is updated with your local host as well, local schemas repo as well. or else in that particular scenario, there will be a deprecation and your code won't work. So this is about the local setup. Just uncomment this and you will be able to connect Meshkit and mesh schemas. There are a lot of functions that have been already been implemented inside the Meshkit. So make sure to, before you try to create something new, make sure to go through the Meshkit repo that that particular function has been previously implemented from one of the maintainers or not. Uh, the other thing that I'll go through is, I think it was creating custom errors. So Meshery does a great job of handling errors, and that we call it as Meshkit compatible errors. It has its own custom logger. So while creating a Meshkit error, it's recommended to write error codes in such a way. I'll show you. Can I find one? I think so. I can't find one, so I'll show one that I have over here. I'll just zoom it in. Yeah. So when you're writing an error for Meshery, so what you need to do is you need to pass in the error code, the error type, a small description, a large description here, and then the suggested remediation as well as the probable cause. So you can follow here as well. So it shows code, severity, short description, long description, probable cause, and suggested remediation. So whenever you're writing an error for a Meshery or a Meshkit compatible error, make sure that you write in this particular format. And one more thing to point out in this particular scenario is while you're writing an error, make sure that you're putting in the heart of a user, not a developer's heart. So don't mention the words like your manifest file is failing because there is XYZ JSON error. Should mention that your file is failing because of insufficient storage or because of comma inside line number this. So be as precise as you can so that the end user that is trying to read can easily solve the issue. Okay. And so this is the doc that you can follow for writing the Meshkit compatible errors. All of these are provided, all the links are provided inside the slides as well, so you can just follow up the slides. Now we'll move forward towards schema-driven approach. I have already went ahead and created this particular, I'll just clear this console. I think I have it over here. Yeah. So I went ahead and already have this thing set up locally. So what I did was inside one of the schemas that I showed you, like this one, the component.json. What I did was I added a new field named as test11 just for the testing purpose, and we'll see how can we generate this particular schema and what are the steps that are being involved in this. I think I'm not going at too fast of a pace. Can someone please confirm?
It's okay.
It's okay.
It's no
Oh,
problem.
I'm missing the charts. I think Vishal is taking care of it, so I don't think I'm
Yeah.
required over there. Yeah. So it's same like the Meshery command that Meshery repo that we have. So Meshery is very consistent in this particular format that we have a template that we take and we start developing new repos based on it. So here also you'll find the make file. Here also you'll find the contributing.md. So you can read, and all of those are well documented, so you can follow those. Here, to make a schema, basically to generate a schema, there's a file known as generate_golang.sh. This is nothing but a shell file that is being called from the make file. Make changes to your schema, whichever you want to make an update to. Here in my scenario, I'm making an update to component.json. I go inside the schema repo. I type in make Golang generate. There are things that you need to, there are some prerequisites like OpenAPI CodeGen needs to be installed from before, needs to be set up globally. Then in that particular scenario, you'll be able to run it. If you go to the shell file, it's nothing but it's basically running the same CLI that we mentioned, the OpenAPI CLI, CodeGen CLI. So this is the CLI tool. You can just copy it, paste it inside your terminal, and then it will work the same. It's just making this simpler and more intuitive. As soon as I run the command, you'll see what I meant by intuitive. So this is the method of generating the schema. And let's go. So I'll run make Golang generate. I hit enter. So you see, It's showing what are the schemas that it generated, and the other stuff. If there's some error, it would just this green won't be there, it will be red, and it will show the error as well. So why this particular code didn't happen. So here, if you see, we are passing in the open API config.yaml, this file basically contains all of the mappings, the core files. For schema, one more thing, for schema to be applied, you need to resolve the schema. So basically, let's say my core.yaml, this particular schema file that is present over here, contains the actual string and int type, and my component contains a struct file. So struct, like the higher category of the variable, and the primary category are inside the core and the common and the core files. So you'll need to resolve this. While resolving, what happens is the higher file, the referenced variable that we have inside the component.json will have all the primary variables, and then it will try to generate it. So while running this command standalone, you'll see that the result is not appropriate and it might fail because you have not resolved the schema. So what resolving is, I would suggest you just go Google it, you'll get to know what is resolving of a schema. Okay. So as soon as I run this particular command, we'll just so you'll see that there are a lot of changes, but it's basically that I'm using a different GitHub repo for generation because I was doing a task and I messed up my configuration, so that's why. But yeah, so if you install the same, everything will be same. There are a lot of changes because it's just moving this file. So this file was here, it got transferred to the top, so it's nothing much. If we search test 11 in the file, so you'll see that the component.go has a new variable name is test 11 inside the component definition. This was the thing that we added here. So it's very simple. Just drag and drop the schema here. Make sure that none of the other repos, make sure that you connect or your schemas repo after changing to Meshkit and Meshery, and there's nothing breaking. So if I'm making change to component, I'll make sure that I drag and drop a component onto the canvas and everything is working fine. If something will break, it will show me in the logs, a very intuitive log of Meshkit error. So you'll be able to find it where it's coming from. It's unlikely for it to panic, but if it's panicked, then you have the exact line number where it did. So I think that's all that I had inside the slide. Yeah. So you can access these resources. Feel free to tag me in one of the public channels. I'll be happy to help as well. Is there any question from anyone? I'm happy to answer for 5 minutes.
Hi, Shlok.
Hello.
Um, this is the first time I think I am joining this meet. So, like most of the thing that you are explaining, I didn't
Hmm.
get it.
Yeah, yeah.
But like, can you give me like a little bit of an overview? Like, I understand the initial architecture that you explained,
Okay.
but actually, are you like pointing, are you explaining some kind of an issue that is already present, or
No, actually, I was explaining how can you contribute to Meshery's backend. That makes sense. So I was
yeah?
explaining the Meshery repo as a whole and the microservices library and the schemas library and why do we have it.
So, are you like this schema creation? Like you're doing like schema creation? No?
Yeah, yeah, sort of.
So actually, why this is and why are you like? Can you like explain a little bit of it?
Yeah, you meant why are we doing schema creations and why not using the direct
Yeah.
variables like that?
Hmm.
Okay. So whenever you're talking with respect to building an architecture or a project that is as big as a Meshery, you see n number of repos over here.
Hmm.
So you need to follow certain rules and regulations. Am I right? So
Hmm.
these rules and regulations are schemas because let's say I am creating a front end. Two different contributors are working. One is working on a front end, one is working on a back end. For backend, Ayush is working and Ayush created five variables with small capital names. So your name keyword is NAME in small case.
Hmm.
Shlok created in the front end, Shlok is expecting that the name keyword will be in capital. So N will be capital, the first letter will be capital. And while you are communicating between the APIs, it's very likely that this particular scenario will happen if two different contributors are working and the API will fail. On the front end, Shlok won't be able to get name, keywords, value because I was expecting a capital N and Ayush was passing a small n. So in this scenario, we follow a schema-driven approach. So we create a schema before developing the front end and the back end. So Shlok and Ayush have a reference of what to pass from the back end and what to call from the back end. Okay.
Okay. Okay, so you are like predefining a set of structure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
Okay.
So if I like think of contributing it, should I first of all I will try to run this project locally. Hmm.
Yeah. So first step of contributing to any open source repository is running the project locally. The first step is running the project locally. The second step is looking for the issues. Yeah. Any other questions? One more thing that I wanted to point out. So as Ayush had a question, there are a lot of things that we all face. Like if you run the command, you'll see 404 error.
Hmm.
So when you'll try to build it locally, I'm 100% sure you'll get this particular error. So
Okay.
on discuss.layer5.io, this is the discussion page that belongs to layer5.io. There are contributors that have faced this particular issue before you. They have mentioned the issue, what happened, how it happened, how to recreate it, and what they did to fix it. It's just like Stack Overflow for layer5.io. Okay. So whenever you are trying to, whenever before writing anything inside the Slack channel, like, can you please help me to find this, fix this? It's recommended go over here, go here, search, and see if you find that particular type of error. If you don't, ask in the Slack channel as well as create a discussion forum over here. So for the future contributors that come to the organization, they would be able to reference that particular issue. Okay.
I had a question.
Yeah, Yash.
So, for any development related issues that we run into, should we first ask about them on the discourse or on the Slack channel or both?
No. So if you are trying to develop something
Hmm.
and you have seen inside it inside the GitHub issue, so there's no need to ask inside the discussion forum. Discussion forum is basically if you want to explicitly mention something that can be used for by the future contributors. So let's say you are running something and you found a bug. This particular bug occurred because you are using a particular version of Golang. Okay.
Yeah,
So you'll open up a discussion forum that I was using this particular Golang version. This was the issue that I saw. It's recommended that I followed these steps to fix it. It's recommended you follow the same steps as well. Or is there a better solution than what I did? Simple.
got it.
Okay. And if you have an issue, it's recommended to talk inside the GitHub discussion,
Yeah,
GitHub
I,
comments. And if you have something urgent, you can talk inside the Slack channel as well. Try to talk in the public Slack channels because that's where me and other maintainers who have
yeah.
uh, basically who are not working actively but are looking at the Slack channels, so we can help.
Public Slack channel would be like the general one and
Yeah,
like,
public Slack channel would be general Meshery CTL, all the channels that you can
right.
see, not in someone's
Okay,
DM.
okay, yeah, that makes sense. Got it.
Yeah.
All right,
Any
thanks a lot, everyone. So, any more question for Shlok?
Mhm.
Looks like not.
I
Yeah,
like
please
I
go.
had an question.
yeah, Yush.
Related to the LFX thing, the
Hmm.
LFX mentorship program. So in the website that the link you have shared, there are like many projects, and some of the I think have been started and like completed or have been like going on. Hmm.
Yeah.
So how can I know that like which are going to be accept? applications in the fall,
Vishal, can I
or
answer
like
this?
all of them
Yeah, definitely. So,
project going?
like we do not govern the timeline that the project's running. So you will have to be familiar with the programs. For example, if you're talking about LFX, that runs thrice a year. So we already completed um, the spring batch. Now we have applications open for summer batch, and if they are not able, they're not open on the LFX portal, we'll get them open really soon. And then for the fall one, that will be followed by this
Uh,
particular batch. We
Sorry
will.
to interrupt. Actually, yeah, they're actually available on the LFX portal too now. I saw.
Okay, so are they available to open?
Yeah, they are.
Okay, awesome. So Ayush, I highly recommend that you go and apply. Like we have 5 open, you can choose at max 3 of them. So go ahead and apply for the summer batch, and then if you're, if you want to, you can participate in the fall batch too. But let's hope for this term only.
I think the
So
summer batch application is going to be end soon.
no, no. So yeah, you're correctly fine. Like you're right. Uh, that timeline ended for other projects, but for us, it has been extended by at least a week, because there were some issues. But yeah, right now you should be able to apply as Yash just mentioned. So just head on to the LFX mentorship site and get your applications in and start engaging in the project. That I would say.
Okay, okay.
Thanks a lot,
So
Ayush.
like in this okay,
Yeah, please go ahead. So,
thank you,
so
thank you. Okay, so like is in this I mean mentorship program, there is a high number of people who are already contributing to the project previously are going to be selected.
yep, we have limited slots for LFX and GSOC. Shlok, I mean, have participated in both of them. But yeah, if you're not able to get in through these programs, there are any number of other opportunity that you might get, if you are consistently engaging and contributing. So that goes without saying. In fact, I was to share, if the time had permitted, I would like to share this particular page with you all. That's in handbook, and there, like in mentorship program. Let's quickly take a look. Yeah, this one. So we participate in all of them. Like I think Google Sin of Docs is no like archived, but yeah, Google Summer of Core. In fact, we have 3 interns like mentees right now for this year. Then Hacktoberfest, which is around the corner, like not around the corner, it's like at least 4 to 5 months away. But then Linux Foundation one, it runs thrice a year, and you can read more about that on our dedicated pages. For example, you can take a look at this Spring Batch, then the right now open summer projects and their LFX URL. For example, this is the LFX URL. You can go and apply. You can also go to the GitHub issue. I would say do not wait for any particular timeline. It's possible that you may not get in because the limited number of slots, because someone else is doing much more impactful work than you are. So start early, start contributing, join the weekly meetings, help others. And that way, as you are consistently engaging, you might find yourself landing an opportunity sooner than later, being through LFX or GSOC or Layer 5's own internship program. For example, if you keep scrolling down, you will read more about that as you go to the dedicated page. So hopefully that answers your question, Ayush.
Yeah, thank you very much.
You had really good questions asked to Shlok about like how these all relate. And so I would like to quickly highlight one contributing page. Let me quickly share that in chat. Yep. So all the components of Meshery like UI, CLI, server, schema that you asked, and any number of other things